should Representative Matthews lose that election, he remains as the state representative, okay? Should he win, we would have to have another special election that would leave a hole there in terms of representation at the state level. Right now, we've got a hole in the Senate side. So just keep all of these things in mind as you're talking about voting and what that means for representation for this community. Very briefly, I want to tell you that the Senate qualifications, you have to be 25, registered in the district. You have to not be a felon, be blessed not to be a felon. Those are the qualifications. So it's not like you have to go through one route to get to the other. The pay is the same whether you're in the Senate or you're at the representative level. So just so you'll have that kind of information, I think that's important. I want you to know, I think we all have a platform. We could talk about education reform. We could talk about economic development. We could talk about expanding and improving affordable health care. We could talk about redesigning the criminal justice system. Those have been our issues for decades and decades and decades. So the platform is not the issue. The issue is what do we do collectively together? How do we get back to that resilience and brilliance that originated right here in the Greenwood area? How do we get back to person-to-person connection from your home to the dome? The power of we. That's who we are. That's what we are about. We want to re-energize this community to say we deserve more, we are more, and we're going to show you more. But it takes the collective we to make that happen. We're excited about that. One last point I want to leave you with in terms of African American history. I spearheaded this initiative to get African American history back into the TPS curriculum. I thought that was very, very important that we do that. Also, when they were trying to tell us that charter schools are not constitutional, I see Mr. Harold Roberts and Ms. Deborah Brown. I was there. We got Oma Copeland elected. She was the school board person that responded to Deborah Brown's calls when she needed her help. So we've been in the trenches, we've been out here for decades, and we know what it means to go from a grassroots level to go to talk to the legislatures, to go and talk to the state attorney general, to talk to the Secretary of State. If we can do that without a title and without pay, what can we do? If, by God's grace, we get there, what can we do? We're looking forward to it. Quick story. George Washington Carver had come to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 30s when you did not have televisions. And because he was a black man, he was not allowed to stay at the hotels here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a way of life. So he stayed at my great-grandmother's home, and he was a genius. And he would go up to Standpipe Hill, and he would pick his plants, and he would look at nature, and he would talk about herbs. He understood all of that. He loved art. He was a painter. He was a musician. Talked about all we needed to do is have the sweet potato and the peanut, and we could survive as a people. That's who he was. But when he stayed at my great-grandmother's house, there was a radio there, and he wasn't that familiar with the radio, a little brown box with knobs on it. He didn't know too much about that, but my great-grandmother said to him, listen, Mr. Carver, make yourself at home. So he tried to do that, and she went back, she passed back by, he was still sitting in the same spot, and she said, why aren't you listening to the music? And he said, I don't know how to turn it on. I do not know how to turn this thing on. And he took that experience to colleges all across the nation, and the experience was that there's music all around us. There's opportunity all around us. We just got to know how to turn it on. We just got to know how to tune in. We're asking you to visit our campaign, The Power of We, Regina Goodwin, State Senate District 11, April 7th. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Goodwin.